Today's class is another beginner's class on balance. Hello and welcome to episode number 269 of Namaste Yoga. Thank you so much for joining us. Today we have another beginner's class. So we will give you a whole preview of the class and we will go over medical conditions and things to consider before you start and props. But let's begin with thanking Squeezed Yoga Clothing for my clothes first. So I'm wearing a black bamboo cap sleeve top and these, I think the color of these are called dusk with cherry blossom print. They're a limited edition legging and they're kind of fun, especially for spring. Makes it feel like spring. And today you're going to need some props, and I know you're beginners, so you can just use whatever you have around the house. So I'm going to be using a yoga block today, but if you're a beginner, you most likely won't have this. So for the thing that I'm going to be doing with this, you can use a stair in your house, and even a bungalow is going to have a stair. So, or we live in an apartment, so we can walk out and use the stairs in the apartment. So I think everybody should be able to get around that. And you're going to need a chair, and then you're going to need a blanket, a folded up blanket to protect your knees. Pillows and things like that are useful to have around as well. And I think that's it. You can do this right on your carpet if you don't have a yoga mat yet as well. Also, I have a testimonial from Lynn from Facebook to begin. And she says, I just want to say thank you. I have taken yoga classes, but my husband wants to try too. So we have begun following your beginner series. And I must say we are both enjoying them so much. You explain the postures so well, and we are both learning. Thanks so much from your new friends in Edmonton, Alberta. So some fellow Canadians there. And that is our intention here, that we are going to be creating beginner classes that are nice and slow, simple, easy to follow with step-by-step instructions, but also that, like Lynn, she can do them with her husband and she's still going to be learning something. And I know that is going to definitely be true today, that this balance class is going to have a lot in it for beginners and advanced practitioners alike. Although the postures might be very simple, that there's going to be a lot of concepts in here related to balance that I think anybody's going to be able to benefit from. So let's have a little talk first. Whenever you come to beginner's class, you should know about your injuries, any injuries or medical conditions, and you need to speak to your medical doctor before you start a yoga class. And when you do, you need to ask them, what movements are safe in my body? What movements can I do? What movements can't I do? And know when you come to the class what is safe for you and what's not safe for you. So, for example, I suffer from migraines. And so I know that when I do yoga, it's not a great idea for me to do inversions, headstands, anything that's going to compress my neck or be hanging upside down when I'm suffering from migraines. So you need to know from your medical doctor with your medical condition what movements. Ask them about movements because there's lots of different kinds of yoga and they can't be expected to know them all. And they should be able to tell you what movements you can and can't do based on your medical condition and injury. And then you'll be able to look after yourself when you come to your class. So here's what to expect in today's class so that you don't have to watch the entire video first to make sure that you're okay with doing it. I'm going to give you a preview of the class. It's going to begin And I'm going to show you everything step by step later, so don't worry about that. It's going to begin in Shavasana, in lying on your back with a guided relaxation. And then we're going to come up onto all fours. And it was useful to have an assistant last week. You're going to come up onto all fours. I'll give you modifications for your wrists here. And you're going to do cat pose. And then from there, you're going to do lunge pose. I'll talk you through step by step. I'll give you modifications for your knees here. After lunge pose, we're going to do some stretches for your feet. And I'll let you sit with your back against the wall because a lot of times it can be really hard to sit like this as a beginner. So we're going to do some stretching for your feet, your toes. We're going to do some stuff like this. We're going to put your fingers between your toes, stretch your toes, all stuff like that. Then we're going to do a meditation to clear your mind. And I am going to get you sitting in a chair for this one because that will be easier. And it's just going to be like this. And you're going to actually visualize blowing out whatever's in your mind, getting rid of it. And then you're going to stay seated while I talk to you a little bit about balance and what makes up for balance. And then we're going to come up to standing. And from standing, we're good to come up to standing. We're going to do 2 calf stretches because a lot of flexibility has to do with, balance has to do with flexibility in your feet and your calves. And I missed a pose. Okay, well, actually it was in the lunge pose, but anyway, there's going to be a little bit more to it than that. So you're going to do a calf stretch like this. And then you're going to do another calf stretch with that block or a stair. You're going to go over to your stairs where you hang off it. And then we're going to do Tadasana pose. So we did this last week as well, that standing pose. Then we're going to do tree pose. And then we're going to come back down onto all fours. Oh, before that, we're going to do some eye yoga too. Looking. We're going to do some stuff like this. And then we're going to do some training of your vestibular system in tree pose. We're going to do some tiger pose. So that's going to be stuff like this. And then you're going to come and you can use your wall or your chair for balance in that. And then we're going to come back down onto your back. Okay? That's all that's going to happen today. So you've seen it all. So I'm going to get you to start lying on your back in Shavasana. So let's go over how to do that. You're going to lie down on your back and just take a moment to tuck your shoulder blades underneath you, turn your palms up beside you, and check in to make sure your neck is long and your forehead and your chin are on the same level. So if your chin is higher, then you'll want to take a pillow or a folded blanket underneath your head. And then check in with how your low back feels. There should be a natural curve in your low back. But if it feels tender or sore, then you're going to bend your knees and place your feet flat on the floor. You might even want to do this at the beginning just to press into your feet and lengthen out through your low back. You could leave your feet here, or you can lengthen them out here if you don't have any low back issues. So see what feels best in your body today. And then you're going to stay here with your eyes closed. And the purpose here is going to be for me to take you through a guided relaxation, to introduce some concepts of balance to you, but also to transition from the busyness of your day-to-day life into your yoga practice, where you're going to be focusing on one thing instead of many things. So take a deep breath in through your nose and let it fall out of your mouth. And close your eyes. Now become aware of the parts of your body that are touching the ground. Notice your back body and all the parts of your body that are connected to the ground. So this is going to be a useful skill when you're balancing as well. Noticing the parts of your body that are connected to the ground and allowing these parts of your body to increase their connection to the ground. So each time you breathe out, let those parts of your body that are connected to the ground sink into the ground a little bit more. Now become aware of your breath and allow your breath to slow down without trying to force it or manipulate it in a really hard way. Just over the next few breaths, let your breath slow down. And this is another skill that you're going to use with balancing. So when you're balancing, you're going to focus on your breath and you're going to slow down so that there's no need to rush. And one thing, if you ask my students, one thing I like to say a lot is infinite time and no ambition. And that's something that definitely applies to balancing. So let your breath slow down. And then you can bend your knees and roll to your right side and pause there for a moment. So let all your movements in this class be slow. And then come up onto all fours. So from all fours, you're going to place your hands underneath your wrists and your knees underneath your hips. And here, you may want to come up onto your fists if your wrists are bothering you. Another thing you can do is roll up your yoga mat, or if you don't have a yoga mat, you can put a little blanket there and put your wrists up lifted on the mat so that they're not as flexed there. And then we're going to do cat pose. And cat pose is where you reach your spine up towards the ceiling. And then you're going to reach your spine down towards the ground. And actually you're going to focus here on moving from your pelvis. So you're going to tip your pelvis forward, your tailbone and your pubic bone, you're going to move it towards your face. And then you're going to lift your pubic bone and your tailbone up towards the ceiling. So you'll move your pubic bone and tailbone towards the wall in front of you. And then you'll lift your pubic bone and tailbone up towards the ceiling. So focus on moving from your pelvis. And the reason why we're focus on moving from your pelvis is that when we build balance, we're going to build it from the ground up, from your feet to our ankles, to our knees, to our pelvis. And your pelvic, you're going to want your pelvis to be in good alignment, not tipped forward, not tipped back. So if we can move our pelvis in and out of alignment, we can find good alignment. So here we're just focusing on moving it. Okay, now you're going to come back to the center, what feels like center to you. So we have a neutral back, and we're going to practice balance from this position. So we're going to just lift one limb at a time. So take your right leg to the back of the mat, and then lift your right leg. So you're going to just move slowly, and then lower, and draw your right leg in. And then you're going to take your left leg to the back of the mat, and you're going to lift your left leg. And then slowly lower down and draw your left knee in. And then you're going to bring your left arm to the front of your mat, and you're going to lift your left arm. So you're going to lift your left arm so that it's parallel to the ground. I have frozen shoulder, so that's as far as my frozen shoulder can go. And then you're going to lower it down and bring it back in. And then you're going to bring your right arm forward to the front of the mat. And you're going to slowly lift it up to parallel to the ground so I can demonstrate this better on this side for you. And then lower it down and bring it back. Okay, great. And then you're going to come back, and let's just give our wrists a little circle here. Okay, so we're going to stretch out your wrists here after that. Okay, so just make your hands into a fist and circle them in both directions. Okay. And then after that, the other thing that balance needs is flexibility and movement, lubrication in all of your joints. So this next one is going to lubricate your knee joints. And we're going to get a blanket underneath your knees for this. If you have any knee issues that it hurts to weight bear them. And I know it does even on my knees on this wood floor. Outside it's nice in the grass because it's nice and soft. You're going to come up onto your knees, and you're going to step your left foot forward. And then take your hands on either side of your left foot. And this is going to stretch the front of your right hip flexor, and we're also going to move in this one, so it's going to stretch out your left hamstring as well. So you're going to lean back until you feel something happening in your left hamstring. And then you're going to lean forward until you feel something happening in your right hip. And you want to keep this knee very stable, like it's in a brace, so you don't want it wobbling back and forth. So lean back as you breathe in, and lean forward as you breathe out. Lean back as you breathe in, and lean forward as you breathe out. And imagine that this front knee is in tracks, so that's going to go super straight. And then we're going to switch sides. So walk your left leg back, and you're going to step your right foot forward. Take your hands on either side of your right foot, And you're going to do the same thing here. So you want to keep this right knee really straight. You don't want it wobbling from side to side. You're going to inhale, lean back. And exhale, lean forward. So breathe and lean back. Breathe out, lean forward. Feeling something happening in your back of your leg here. Feeling something happening in the front of your hip here. Great. And then you're going to walk your foot back. And you could use this blanket to sit on now. Or you could sit with your back against the wall. So balance depends on flexibility in your ankles, in your knees, in your hips, because there's a lot of movement in balance actually. So we're going to stretch out your feet now. So you can sit up on something which lets you to sit taller, or you can sit with your back against the wall. So whatever is easiest for you. And we're going to stretch out your feet and your ankles here. So start by just moving your toes. So not your ankles or feet at all. Just curl your toes forward and then draw them back towards your face. So bend your toes forward, then draw them back towards your face. And now move your whole foot forward and bring your whole foot back. And then you're going to circle your feet. So nice ankle flexibility here. And then circle your feet in the other direction. And then take your left leg and cross it over your right leg and circle your ankle again. And circle it in the other direction. And then take your fingers and you're going to spread your toes. And this feels really weird at first, but you're going to put your fingers between your toes so that you can spread your toes more when they're on the ground. And this gives you a wider base underneath your foot for your balancing poses. And then you're going to bend your toes forward and back. And then you can release this foot to the ground. And you can do the same thing on your right foot. So cross your right foot over your left leg. And you're going to circle your foot. And circle it in the other direction. And then spread your toes again. And put your fingers between your toes. And bend your toes forward and back. And then you can release your foot down, and then you'll be able to spread your toes a lot more when you have your feet on the ground and have a wider base to balance from. Okay, so after this foot series, we're going to do that meditation to clear your mind. So let's go ahead and get a chair. Okay, so get your chair, and to sit in your chair for meditation, you want to sit right on the edge of your chair so that you can feel your sit bones and lengthen up tall through your spine, but don't sit with your back against the back of the chair. So like in Downton Abbey, when we saw this special on Downton Abbey, the nannies used to put knives on the backs of the chairs so the children wouldn't sit with their backs on the chairs. So that's not very non-violent or very yogic, but you can imagine that. And that's why they had such good posture. There were lots of cues for that. And then you're going to sit with your head over your rib cage, and I'm going to take you through this meditation to clear your mind for balancing. And calming your mind and letting go of thoughts can be really helpful for balancing. So this is a meditation actually for negative mind. When you need to balance the negativity and protective fervor of the negative mind, we can use this meditation. We're going to use it for balance today. It clears the subconscious of unwanted, negative, or fearful thoughts. And then the negative mind can give you clear signals to help you to balance. And this is a posture of calmness and humility that lets the balance find way to be able to balance more easily. So you're going to sit straight on your chair. You're going to make a cup of your two hands with both palms facing up. And the right hand's going to rest on top of your left hand. And the fingers will cross over each other. And you're going to put this open cup at the level of your heart center. Your elbows are going to be relaxed at your sides. You're going to focus your eyes slightly open and looking downward at your hands. And then you're going to breathe. You're going to inhale, take a long, steady breath in through your nose. And you're going to breathe out in a steady stream through rounded lips. And you're going to feel your breath go out over your hands. And as you breathe out, let go of any thoughts or desires that are negative or persistently distracting you. And you can breathe out any negative thoughts with your mind as you breathe. And breathe in through your nose. And breathe out and let go of any negative thoughts. So we'll do this for 3 minutes. Inhale. And exhale. So focusing on what you're letting go of into the palm of your hands. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And timing it for 3 minutes. Breathing in through your nose. Breathing out through your mouth. Feeling that breath come across your hands. Letting go of any negative thoughts. And then the next time you breathe out, you're going to lower your hands down onto your lap. And you're going to stay sitting in your chair. And you're going to close your eyes and you're going to receive the teachings for today. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about balance. And you're going to just receive some teachings on balance for now. So what is balance? Balance is an even distribution of weight, allowing something or someone to remain upright or steady. It can also mean a condition in which different elements are in the correct proportion or equal. To me, it is a combination between stability and flexibility. I believe that one of the most challenging things when it comes to balance, both on and off the yoga mat, is accepting that you are going to fall or fail. So coming out of balance is as big a part of coming back into balance. When you fall or fail, there's no need to take it as a personal failure or a reflection of some kind of personal character defect. It's just something that's going to happen when you practice balance. Rather, it's an opportunity to regroup, practice courage, and try again, and practice perseverance. We can practice falling with grace, and there's no need to give up. Falling is just an opportunity to get up again and practice balance. So balance is made up of 3 systems in our body. Number 1, your vestibular system. Your vestibular system contains sense organs in your head, mostly in your ears, which regulate your equilibrium. Your vestibular system gives your brain directional information related to your head position in space. Number 2, your somatosensory system, or your proprioception. Your somatosensory system, or your proprioception, relies on proprioception in your joints and pressure and vibration sensors in your skin and joints, which is why we started working on your joints. Number 3, your visual system. Your visual system relies on your eyes to figure out where your head and body are in space and in relation to other objects. So you need to have good eyes and ears and healthy joints for good balance. So today we have and are going to continue to practice a variety of techniques to improve your balance. It is important to be patient. Balance is one of the 5 components of physical fitness, along with cardiovascular strength, endurance, and flexibility. Just in the same way that you wouldn't expect to build your bicep muscle overnight, it will take time to establish your balance. So you can go ahead and open your eyes now, and we're going to practice some standing posture and work with some more of these concepts that we've just talked about. Okay, so you can put your chair off to the side now. You may want to keep it close by because you can use it as a tool to help you with balance. I'm going to use the wall probably to help me with balance. And we're going to start our standing postures. Oh, that's funny. Turn the other way. With some calf stretches, because flexibility in your calves will help you with your balancing as well. So you're just going to stand towards the front of your mat and take a step back with your right foot. And when you do that, look back at your right foot because chances are your right heel will be turned in. I just exaggerated that a bit. You want to straighten out your right heel so that both feet are parallel. The inner edges of both feet are parallel. And then you're going to bend your front knee until you feel a stretch in your back, in your calf muscle, your lower leg. You might have to increase that distance or straighten out the heel more until you feel the stretch in your right calf at the back there. And then let's switch sides. So you're going to take a step back with your left foot. And again, make sure that your back foot is straight there because your heel will probably turn in. And this one's a lot tighter, and I realize it's because I've been giving Tim the camera angles on. I've been stretching this one by giving Tim pre-shots on the other one. Okay, so you're going to bend your front knee and feel your stretch in your left calf. So I had been demonstrating on this calf lots of poses for Tim to check out camera angles so it wasn't tight anymore. So this works. That's the good news. And if you're having trouble with the balance, you can use your chair or your wall, because I know I'm feeling a little bit wobbly here. You can put your arms out to the side. Okay, and then let that posture out of your body. This is the one, if you don't have a yoga block, you're going to use your stair for. So take your yoga block, and you're going to stand both your feet on the yoga block. This one's nice if you have the softer foamy blocks. You're going to drop this is why my right calf is so much more stretched out, because I've already been showing Tim this one a lot of times. You're going to drop your right heel off the block until you feel a stretch. And here, you're probably going to need to have your arms out to the side or hold on to the wall for balance. And then let's switch sides on that. So you can drop your left heel off now. And make sure there's a slight bend in your gesture leg so that you're not hyperextending your left leg as well. You'll still get that stretch through your left calf. So if you don't have a yoga block, you can go do this on your stair. You can press pause on the video and go do this on a stair, and then you'll have the wall to support you too. Okay, so now we're going to come down off your block or come back from your stair, and you can put your block away. And we're going to do a pose that we did last week too called Tadasana, and we're going to play around with some balancing in Tadasana too. So first we're going to do something that I have been alluding to quite a bit in this class, is building balance from the base up. So starting from your feet, make sure your feet are underneath your hip bones, underneath your iliac crest. That's the top of your pelvis where you feel those bony protrusions. You're going to lift and spread your toes. Make sure the inner edges of your feet are parallel. And you're going to actually maybe even bend your knees and come down and physically spread out your toes. You may need to do that, because if you're a beginner, you might not have that toe spread thing going on yet. And then it'll come, but you get that brilliant little toe spread thing happening. And then you're going to feel all the corners of your feet. So you're going to feel weight on the inner edge of your foot and the outer edge of your foot. So you're actually just going to feel that roll in a little bit. That's pronation. Roll out a little bit. That's supination. And try and feel the balance between the two. So you don't want to be rolled in or rolled out. And then feel the space behind the big toe and behind the little toe. And then the base of the inner heel and the outer heel as well. And Then what we're going to do is we're going to start to train your vestibular system. So we talked a little bit about that. That's your inner ear and feeling where you are in space, where your head is in space. So one of the ways that we can do that is do this Tadasana pose, which is just standing here like this. You've got your feet spread, you reach your legs down, lengthen up through your spine, your head's back over your shoulders, your arms are down by your side. The first way we're going to train your vestibular system is you may want to make sure you have a chair close by just to make sure you're safe, or stand by the wall or a windowsill or whatever is close by in your home or your couch. You're going to close your eyes and just notice what that does to your balance. So I noticed that I would just start to sway a little bit from side to side. Just notice what happens when you get rid of the visual field. And then the next thing we're going to do, you can open your eyes now, is you're going to bring your feet right together. So feel how that feels. Keep your eyes open for this at first. Notice how that changes your balance with your feet together. So narrower base, more challenging for your balance. And then again, try it with your eyes closed. Notice and make sure you have something close by if you need to hold on to a chair. So you can start to feel why you would need flexibility in your ankles and your feet and your calves, because feel all that movement that's happening down there. And there's always going to be movement and balance. And open your eyes again and take your feet back out to hip bone width apart. So your feet are underneath that iliac crest again. And then what we're going to do is you're going to, and actually I'm just going to grab the chair so I can show you with the prop. So you could use a wall or a chair for balance, or you can try it without too, but I'll show it with. You're going to inhale, come up onto the balls of your feet, and then you're going to exhale and lower down. Inhale up onto the balls of your feet, and exhale, lower down. Now start by looking at something on the ground that's really close to you. This is also training your vestibular system. When you look at something close to you, there's not too much that your whole visual system has to take in. Then you can start to challenge yourself by looking a little bit further away. And you can challenge yourself by looking even further away. And notice how things get more and more wobbly. The further away you look, and the more you have to take into your vestibular system, it starts to get more and more challenging. Do you notice that? Yeah, it's good. Nice, good workout for your calves. Good thing we stretched our calves today. Yeah. If you really want to challenge yourself, you can ignore my frozen shoulder, put both your hands on top of your head, and come up and down like that. Yeah. So yeah, the more connected you are to the ground, the easier it is. So that's that one. And then, as I said before, the another major component to your balance is your visual system. So we're going to do some eye yoga now. And the way that we're going to do it is, again, using this distance thing, looking up close and looking far away. For the eye yoga, you're going to take your palms and face them towards your face And you're going to focus first on your palms so that you're looking at something up close. And then you're going to breathe in and open your palms and then look at something as far away as you can in your space. If you have a window in your space like I do, I would turn and look at my window as far as I can in the distance. So I'm going to look at my palms, then I'm going to breathe in, and I'm going to look as far as I can in the distance. Breathe out, focus on my palms. Breathe in and look as far as I can in the distance. And this is really great training because it applies one of those principles that we just used of taking in way more information in your space, which will help with your balance. Taking way more information into your vestibular system through your visual system. And then you can lower your palms down. And we're going to do a little more eye yoga. So it's really simple. You're going to inhale and look straight up. And breathe out and look straight down. Breathe in and look straight up. Breathe out and look straight down. And then breathe in, look to the right. Breathe out, look to the left. And then breathe in, look to the left. Breathe out, look to the right. And then come to the center and we're going to circle your eyes clockwise. And then you're going to go counterclockwise. Keep breathing. And then close your eyes. Let them be bathed in darkness. Take a deep breath in through your nose. And let it fall out of your mouth. So don't be surprised if that was challenging because we spend a lot of times in front of screens. A lot of time in front of screens. And when we spend time in front of screens, whether it be your computer screen or a phone or an iPad or any kind of screen, even in your car now, you have screens on your cars so that you don't have to look around very much and your eyes are very static. So our eye muscles are very weak. And in yoga, it's great that we have eye yoga, that we can start to move our eye muscles again. And one of the greatest benefits of this is that it helps to improve our balance. And I have a whole blog post on this, the 3 ways to improve your balance in everyday life, is just to take screen breaks so that you're actually using your eyes and not having them held in this like static position all day. So, okay, now we're going to actually practice a standing balancing pose. So as I said, we're going to do a standing balancing posture now, and we're going to do tree pose, Vrikasana. And it's good to have a chair beside you for help with your balance if you need that. You're going to start on your left foot and create that wide base of support by lifting and spreading your toes. And you can even reach down, bend your knees, and spread them again. And then turn your right toe out, your right toes and your knee out, and you can keep your feet on the floor too. So if balance is a challenge for you, keep your feet on the floor. You can pick up your foot, put it below your knee. The higher you move your foot up your leg, the more challenging balance is going to be. You can put it above or below your knee, but not on your knee joint. So that's going to be more challenging up here. I'm going to keep it below my knee today, and I'm going to hold on to the chair for balance. And then you're going to bring your hands, if you were going to, well, first before we do that, let's set up our gaze. So you're in yoga, we call this your drishti. So focus at something on the floor close to you. So we talked about using your vestibular system, and the more you move it up and further away, the more you're taking into your vestibular system, more into your visual field, the more challenging it's going to be. So keep it close and on the ground. And if you're going to take your hands away from the chair, you're going to bring them both together at the heart center. More challenging would be to take both your hands overhead. So I'm going to encourage you to keep them at your heart center here. And you can always keep one hand on the chair for balance too. So when you feel stable with that, or if you feel stable with that, you can start to challenge your vestibular system and your visual system by taking in more to your vestibular system by starting to move your gaze a little bit further away from you. And over time, you can move it further away, a little bit further away and up, so that you're taking more into your visual field. It's more challenging to your vestibular system, and then up and more. So over time, you just start to take more and more into your visual field. Okay, let's try that on the other side. So this time you're going to stand on your right foot, turn your left toes and your left knee out, and you can keep your toes on the ground. Or if you want more of a balance challenge, you can pick up your foot and put it below your knee. And even more of a balance challenge would be to place your foot above your knee. So do what's right for you and your body today. Then find a point to focus on the ground close to you. That's going to be the least balanced challenge. And then if you can take your hands off the chair, then you bring your hands together at the heart center. And then if you're feeling steady here, if you're not feeling steady, put your hand back on the chair. But if you are feeling steady, you can start to challenge yourself by bringing your gaze a little bit further away from you. So you're taking more into your visual field. And just notice how you start to, that you do that little wobble as you take in a little bit more. And then a little bit more. And a little bit more. And over time, it gets more and more challenging. So in that blog post that I was telling you about, 3 ways to challenge your balance in everyday life, one thing that I recommend you do is when you're walking on a smooth surface like a sidewalk, is you can focus on looking on the ground and then challenge your vestibular system by looking up on the horizon. And that just gets you to take in more sensory information. And it's really important in our day-to-day life because we, as I said, we spend all our time in front of screens and our eyes are just stuck. And so then there's nothing coming in. And, we drive cars like this now and all the information's on the screen. We don't even have to look in our blind spots anymore or look behind us to make sure nothing's behind us because our cars tell us all that information now. So it's really important that we start to move our heads and look up and look around, and this really helps our balance. So it's not surprising to me that I'm getting more and more emails with people saying they have challenge with their balance, because we live in a culture where all of the information that is going to help us with our balance is being taken away from us. So we can work on this in our yoga classes. It's great. Okay, we're going to come back down to the ground now, onto all fours. So I'm going to put this chair off to the side. So you're going to come back down onto all fours with your hands underneath your shoulders, your knees underneath your hips. This hand position is another way to, when you tent your hands like this, so you're up on your fingertips, that you could take care of your wrists. You could also come onto your fists if your wrists bother you. And we're going to do a position that's going to work balance here. So in this position, I want you to really focus on the parts of your body that are going to be on the ground. So in this position, it's going to be your shins. And here, if it doesn't bother your wrists, it's going to be your hands. So you would want to really spread your fingers wide, or be up on your fists if it bothers your wrists. So in this one, it's going to be your right shin. You're going to take your left leg to the back of the mat and your right arm to the front of the mat. And then focus on something that's not moving. So you're going to focus right here on the ground in front of you. And then you're going to lift your opposite arm and your opposite leg. And see how that goes. Now, if that's challenging for your balance, what you could do is use the wall. So I'm probably going to need my mat. So you could bring your body right against the wall, so you've got it to lean on a little bit there. And then take your left leg back, your right arm forward, and lift there. And then you've got the wall for that extra support there. Okay, so from here, what we're going to do is you're going to inhale. You can just stay here. That would be totally fine. And you're going to exhale, bring your opposite elbow to your opposite knee. And then inhale, reach forward. Exhale, opposite elbow to opposite knee. Inhale, reach. Elbow to knee. This is really good for your brain because it's connecting the left and right hemispheres of your brain. And then you can hold here, lower your arm and leg down, and then draw them back underneath you. And then I'm just going to turn around so that I can show you. If you're using the wall for balance, you would have to turn around so you have the other side of the wall to use for balance. So this side, you're going to take your right leg back and your left arm forward. And then you can lean, be close up to the wall so that you can lean against the wall for balance if you need to. You're going to lift your right leg. Oh, that's the bolster behind me. Okay. You come forward a bit. And then you would bring your left arm up to parallel to the ground. So just imagine that my left arm is parallel to the ground. And those of you who have experienced frozen shoulder will know what I'm going through. And you're going to inhale here. And then you're going to exhale, bring your opposite elbow and knee together. Inhale, reach. Exhale, opposite elbow, knee together. Inhale, reach. Exhale, bring them together. Good, and then we'll reach and lower. And then you can sit back on your heels. And let's just do a little stretch for your wrists again. Okay, and that's it. That's it for my balance class. So you get to rest now. That's a lot for you to take in, actually. There was a lot of information, and then there was a lot that we did with eye yoga, and I feel like it was probably a lot for your brain to take in. So it's really important that you take this time now to lie down and allow yourself to receive all of that and integrate it into your system. So it's a much deserved Shavasana. So let me talk to you a little bit about how to get into that again. Okay, so you're going to lie down on your back. And tuck your shoulder blades underneath you. Turn your palms up beside you. Let's take a moment to set up your low back too. Bend your knees. Place your feet flat on the floor. Press into your feet and then lengthen out through your low back. And then bring your pelvis back to neutral. And you could stay here with your knees bent and your feet flat on the floor. Or you could lengthen your legs out long. And if you have a rolled up blanket, you could place that underneath your knees too. That'll give some nice relief for your low back, but also some nice energy flow through your body here at the end. And you're just going to lie here with your eyes closed and allow yourself to receive everything you did in your mind and in your body. And I'm going to come up to seated and read you a poem. Okay, so when you rest in Shavasana, I often read you a poem. And I choose the poem based on the theme for the week. And if the poem resonates with you, if it makes sense to you, then great. You can allow yourself to receive it. And if it doesn't make any sense to you and it seems like, what? Then just let it go. So this is a poem called Being Watchful by Wendell Berry. As soon as I felt a necessity to learn about the non-human world, I wished to learn about it in a hurry. And then I began to learn, perhaps, the most important lesson that nature had to reach me, that I could not learn about her in a hurry. The most important learning, that of experience, can neither be summoned nor sought out. The most worthy knowledge cannot be acquired by what is known as study, though that is necessary and has its use. It comes in its own good time and its own good way to the man who will go where it lives and wait and be ready and watch. Hurry is beside the point, useless, and obstruction. The thing is to be attentively present. To sit and wait is as important as to move. Patience is as valuable as industry. What is to be known is always there. When it reveals itself to you, or when you come upon it, it is by chance. The only condition is your being there and being watchful. So take a deep breath in and let it pull out of your mouth. And then bend your knees and roll to your right side. And pause there and take a breath. And then slowly make your way up to seated. Thank you so much for joining us for episode 269 of Namaste Yoga. If you like today's show, then we have over 20 classes of beginners classes, and then I'll link to them in the show notes. Share this with a friend, a family member, or email it to a coworker. Please like the show, subscribe to our channel, and leave us a 5-star review on iTunes. Leave your comments below. Today's question to answer in the comments is, what's one thing that you learned about balance today? We'd love for you to join our membership site where we have value-added content, a community of like-minded people coming together from all around the world, and where you can receive ongoing support in deepening your yoga practice. And you can join right here below. I'm sending you much love from beautiful British Columbia. May you experience the strength of our mountains. May you be as rooted as the trees in our forest. And may you have joy as deep as our Pacific Ocean. Om Shanti. Namaste.
Melissa would love to hear your questions and thoughts. Please leave your comments below the video. Thank you for your reviews on iTunes and YouTube. Your reviews help us to share yoga and a yoga lifestyle with others around the world. If you have a question for Melissa, you can leave a voice message at melissawest.com. and Melissa may answer it in an upcoming blog.